During the next half hour, we'll talk to Cardinal Blase Cupich about the consistory in Rome and his elevation to the College of Cardinals. And we'll revisit the Liturgy of Thanksgiving that brought faith and civic leaders together at Holy Name Cathedral. We'll celebrate with hundreds of children at 3 Chicago area Catholic schools that received National Blue Ribbon Awards. And we'll take you to a tree lighting ceremony that helped shine a positive light on a far South Side Chicago community. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello, I'm Todd Williamson, Director of the Office for Divine Worship with the Archdiocese of Chicago. And joining me here in the studio is Cardinal Blase Cupich. I emphasize Cardinal. This is the first time that we are recording since your elevation. So we wanted to talk about a number of things from that whole experience. The consistory, the visit to Assisi, the closing of the Holy Door, all of that. Let's start with the consistory itself, Cardinal. What was that like?
Well, we were 17 altogether who were made, and I was impressed by the global presence, the footprint of this group of cardinals. We come from different lands, and in fact, cardinals were made in various countries that never had a cardinal before. Bangui, Central Africa, for instance, had a cardinal named there. Some of the islands. So it really was a way in which the Universal Church was present on that moment. And the Holy Father, I think, wanted to make sure that his message, that we go to the peripheries, had some real concrete way to manifest that. And I think that's what impressed me the most. You know, you mentioned that there are some parts of the world that receive cardinals for the first time. Some parts of the United States received a cardinal for the first time. Archbishop Tobin was made cardinal along with you from Indianapolis. First time ever to have a cardinal from that Midwest city. And there were shots of you and Cardinal Tobin together. What were you exchanging in those moments? Well, of course, by the time that he entered the consistory ceremony, he had been transferred from Indianapolis to Newark. So I think that it was both of those cities were able to join in that celebration. And so he'll be installed in Newark on January the 6th. But it was great. But also Cardinal Farrell, who was the Bishop in Dallas, was a part of it. So the United States had the most in this consistory, the greatest representation. I don't think there was any country that had more than one. And so for us to have 3 was very unique. You know, the shots that they got, that global aspect that you just talked about, that's where it's really came to be when the cardinals were greeting each other. As a college, that had to have been profound for you to know that you are now part of that. Well, yes, and I have known some of the cardinals over the years, so some of them have become good friends. It was a nice opportunity for us to greet each other, and I felt very welcomed. Yeah. What does the fact that the Archbishop of Chicago has been elevated to a cardinal, what does that mean for the city? What does that mean for the Archdiocese itself? Well, as I said Sunday night when we had the celebration for the city, I know that a lot of people feel as though having a cardinal also is for them, even if they're not of the Catholic faith or of no faith. I think there is a civic presence of the cardinal that really does give people a sense that the Catholic Church is very concerned about all the needs of the citizens here in Chicagoland. And I want to build on that. I'm grateful for that opportunity, and that surely was manifest at the ceremony that we had Sunday night. Right. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but it strikes me that the day after the consistory,
all of the cardinals, you were part of the closing of the Holy Door at St. Peter's. You opened the door here at Holy Name Cathedral over a year ago. What was it like then to see that come around to the end at St. Peter's?
Well, we had a front row seat because we were there. We were there in the vestibule, seated, saw the Holy Father come in and close the door. And it was very special. So we weren't out in the piazza with the rest of the people. We were there, right in front. He had us there. And it really was very striking because it was clear that, as he said in his homily, by the mere fact that we're closing a door, it doesn't mean that we're closing the door to God's mercy. That door stays open. And it was it was a very elegant, very beautiful, simple ceremony. And you saw those huge bronze doors being closed. I had never seen that before. Now they'll be bricked up and until the next Holy Year.
Exactly. In the homily for the Mass, you made mention of this just a few moments ago. The Holy Father talked about the need to go out and to meet the marginalized. He's been saying that since his election. You've been saying that since you've been installed here as Archbishop. That must have hit a note for you as you heard that.
Well, yes, it was very interesting because he has been a pope who has wanted to make sure that nobody's excluded. And sometimes we take for granted that means people at the ends of the earth or people of a certain economic background. But he also, I think, feels that for the elderly. There are times elderly in our communities who feel as though they're at the margins. And so in a very symbolic way, right after the consistory, the Holy Father invited all of the 17 new cardinals to go on a bus with him.
Really?
Yes. We all got in a bus. And we went up and visited Pope Benedict.
I saw that. That's right. I saw that.
And so it was very nice. And the chemistry between the two of them was so very warm. And so both Holy Fathers were there. We got to greet Pope Benedict. And I have a nice photo of myself with Pope Benedict and Pope Francis. It's a very historic photo because how often do you have a photo with two popes?
Right.
And so it was really a wonderful occasion.
You had met Pope Emeritus Benedict before.
Right. I knew him when he was head of the congregation for Doctrine of the Faith, and then as a pope because he appointed me to Spokane.
That's true. That's right. You know, there was a part of the consistory that I think our viewers would really like to hear about because I don't know that many of us understand what a titular church is.
Oh, yes.
You were installed after your elevation at St. Bartolomeo. It's your titular church. Cardinal, what does that mean to have a titular church?
It means a title. And so as a cardinal, I am a priest of the Diocese of Rome now. And as such, I have to have a parish. And so the Holy Father grants a parish, and mine's very easy to get to. It's in the center of Rome. It's on Tiber Island, as they call it. So not only did the Pope give me a church, he gave me an entire island.
How many can say that?
Exactly. And so it was the same one that Cardinal George had. So I was able to continue that connection with that community. They do a lot of work with the poor and the marginalized through the San Egidio organization. So I was able to take, as they say, possession of the church in a very nice ceremony. The people from Chicago were there. The church was full, and it was a very nice ceremony. It was very scripted because the ceremonial office of the Holy Father sends a representative to make sure that everything goes exactly right. And there's a formality there about signing documents. And so now I am the pastor of a parish in an active parish in Rome on Tiber Island.
That's one. Did you got to spend time? You got to meet some of the parishioners
there? The rector and all of the priests who were there and some of the parishioners. It was quite nice.
When you're in Rome, will you visit there? Is
yes,
that something that you?
I very much, and I would like to come there and say Mass and. it would be really a privilege for me to become active. Yes.
Nice, nice. Another aspect of the trip was a side trip to Assisi, and you got to celebrate the liturgy at the Basilica of St Clare. And of course, Assisi is the place of St Francis and St Clare, and the San Damiano cross is there. Yeah. And I just wondered, because that's such a focal point for Renew My Church here in Chicago, yes. What was it like to be in the presence of that? You've made a great deal of that wonderful historic cross.
Well, yes, that is an image that I think has to capture our imagination as we move forward with Renew My Church. And so to have our group come there and to pray before the cross was an opportunity for us to connect what the consistory was about and Renew My Church. It is, I think, one in the same message, namely that being appointed a cardinal is not an honor, it's a responsibility. And so is serving in the church. We have the responsibility of moving things forward. Mm-hmm. So I really did enjoy that opportunity, and I think people also found that coming out of Rome for a day was very a good opportunity to center their spirituality. You get so worked up with all the activities in Rome that you can lose sight of why we're here. Going to Assisi helped to center us.
That's wonderful. Renew My Church, going to the marginalized in Pope Francis's homily, the message that you're giving, being elevated. What better way to bring that all together? What a better place than in Assisi with St. Francis.
Exactly. And we had wonderful weather the whole trip. That was planned. I took full credit.
As you should have. You know, here at home we celebrated too. And certainly the schools celebrated.
Yes, they did.
Catholic schools took part in a number of different efforts, a number of different projects to observe your elevation to the College of Cardinals. They did so in a number of ways. They wrote letters, they created posters wishing you well. It was a great reflection of the creativity that flows from our schools. And many of them had their students wear red for the day. Yeah. There was even a balloon launch at Christ the King School in Chicago. Uh-huh. So they took part. They were wishing you well.
That's really heartwarming. Thank you.
After you returned, not long after you returned, hardly any time to breathe, we had a celebration. You've alluded to it already. Last Sunday night on December 4th at Holy Name Cathedral, a liturgy of thanksgiving. And Cardinal, it was particular, right? Because even in its planning, you told us you wanted it to reflect a sense of unity here in Chicago. And so there were religious leaders, ecumenical religious leaders, interreligious leaders, civic leaders, the mayor. It was just a wonderful gathering.
Right, it was.
Tell us a little bit just about that.
Well, I wanted to make sure, and I've said this from the very beginning when I came here, that I want to form partnerships with a broad base of people, civic leaders, religious, but also business and labor. Mm-hmm. Because I think that we do have challenges here in the city, but when we approach them together, when we work together, we can get a lot done. So I wanted this celebration to manifest that. Mm-hmm. And I was so pleased with the turnout. Even though the weather was bad, we still had probably 7/8 of a cathedral full. Right. And it made, I think, an impression on people that this was a real civic event. And people really found that there was a moment for us to come together as a city, and not to honor any one person, but to see that when we do come together like that, we're much stronger. Yeah. Even the differences that we have, the ways that we come at life differently. As I said, a little bit of a quip that we all come from different directions, and this is why God invented GPS, because we need something to steady our pathway forward.
Well, you know, the Office for Radio and Television got all of the homily, and in fact, we have a clip here that we want to show the folks. So
great. Okay.
Take a listen.
We should not forget that as we solve our problems and resolve our disputes today, all those we serve, and especially our youth, are watching us. What is required now, Pope Francis told business and political leaders yesterday, is not a new social compact in the abstract, but concrete ideas and decisive action, which will benefit all people and which will begin to respond to the pressing issues of our day. A good place to start is for all of us who are given the high ground of leadership to speak and to act in a way that gives people the hope to tap into the creative resources God continually gives us, to speak and to act in a way that moves us forward together, to speak and to act with care, because our children are watching us.
Cardinal, at the beginning of that homily, you made, I think, a very particular point. You noted to everybody there that you hoped that they felt that the cathedral was their home,
right,
or that they were at home. That's a powerful message, I think, for our city.
Well, and I think we need places where people do feel, wherever they come in, that they're welcome. And the cathedral has been that. I think in the history of the parish, the parishioners are so very generous in making that happen. We have every weekend hundreds of people who come for Mass. But I think that I also wanted to say that this was a sacred space that is made all the more sacred by the presence of God in each one of the people there. I think it's important for people to step back and realize that it is an invitation by God whenever they come to the church, not to recognize only that Christ is present or God is present in that building, but He's also present in them, and to tap into that. So my hope was to be able to have people see that they have so much in common because of the divine presence in each one of us.
You know, that's a message that we've heard often from you. In fact, for just a little over 2 years now. You've been here for 2 years now.
Yes.
When you look back on that, what comes to your mind?
Well, I think that one thing that always I come at all of this with great appreciation is the fact that I've been so well accepted by people. I hear from people all the time, they want me to succeed. They're wishing me well. They're encouraging me. That is a source of great encouragement to me, and I see that as I walk on the street. People want to come up and talk. Or
which you do. You walk from the you walk from the rectory to work.
Right. Or when I see people at any kind of gathering, folks have been very encouraging to me, and that is maybe one of the reasons for me the 2 years have gone by very quickly. I'm just having too much fun.
That's wonderful. That's great. I'm so glad to hear that.
Good.
You know, part of coming to Chicago, being Archbishop, is being able to work with the wonderful Catholic schools that we have.
Right.
And recently, the Archdiocese of Chicago received an honor. 3 of our schools were named Blue Ribbon schools by the U.S. Department of Education.
Wow.
And our Office for Radio and Television has a first-hand look at that here on this clip. Let's watch.
Good.
Our tour of Blue Ribbon Schools begins at St. Juliana on Chicago's northwest side. Students at St. Juliana were treated to a dance party, complete with pizza and a DJ. Amid all the partying, it was easy to find people to brag about their school.
My sons go to this school, mainly one of the huge reason was that my husband went here, and it's a very big, St. Juliana's is very big in our community and means a lot to us. I think we all stick together as a whole.
It is a huge thing for our community. This is something that this community have worked for, they deserve, and it just means a lot because of the multi-generational factor.
With hundreds of kids singing Go Cubs Go, one teacher capitalized on the obvious connection to her school.
We're a hardworking school. We have a lot of dedicated teachers, staff. The kids come to school every day ready to learn, expecting a new challenge with their technology, with their writing, with math, with interacting with each other, developing their faith. And so just like the Cubs, many different people working together to make a winning team. That's what we have at St. Juliana.
Our Blue Ribbon Tour continues in northwest suburban Barrington, where St. Anne's School celebrates a second Blue Ribbon, repeating the honor it received 10 years ago. A common theme with people we spoke with, community.
While we celebrate as a faculty and as students And as a parent community, we really need to extend our thanks and our gratitude beyond the school and certainly into the parish community and of course the Archdiocese of Chicago as well.
You really feel like family. This isn't too much of a big school where you have so many people, you're just lost, you're a small fish in a big sea, and it just makes it a lot easier on you, and the teachers really, really care about not only your grades, but how you are doing as a real person.
They're very servant-oriented. Each grade level within the middle school has a certain amount of community service hours that they're obligated to do, and for the most part, they go above and beyond that because they truly do like reaching out to the community.
Our final stop is on Chicago's southwest side at St. Daniel the Prophet School. An afternoon assembly brings students, teachers, and alumni together for a pep rally to celebrate their success.
When you come to St. Daniel's, it feels like it's a family more than it does just at any other school. And then as you get your Catholic education throughout your life, it's the same idea. It's not just a concept of somewhere to get your education. It's also about trying to build this community, trying to be a leader, trying to know how to work with others.
Well, the Blue Ribbon tells our students, who are city students, that they could aspire higher. And for us as a private institution, that our students are always inspired by the relationship with God, but also that they could aspire higher to be all that God would envision them to be.
They've always come back and said that St. Daniel the Prophet gave them the foundation they needed to go out into the world and become productive, strong members of our community and of society itself. And they've always talked about the structure we had and the love of God that we gave them and the guidance to move forward in the spirit of Christ.
On the Blue Ribbon Tour, this is Jim Dish with photographers Mike May and Brian Brock reporting for Catholic Chicago.
Quite a national honor, and
Yes.
in fact, for us, that's a feather in our cap, is it not?
Well, it is because I also know that there is not a school district in the United States, whether they're Catholic or public school, that has as many Blue Ribbon schools as ours. And I think that's a testimony to our great school office, to the work that's done every day in our schools by our teachers, administrators, by our pastors. There's a great commitment here in the Archdiocese to education, and I think that that is something we should be proud of. It is. I think there really is no better team than the one that we have in our schools office. They're second to none. They're out there every day, not only in terms of making sure that they have the resources in our schools, but they're also doing things to turn around difficult situations. Mm-hmm. They're working hard every day. They really are second to none.
Congratulations needs to be said to Superintendent Rigg, to you as Archbishop, to the whole school's office. It's a wonderful honor.
They do a great job.
It's the fact that it's happening at this time of the year, right, is wonderful as well. People are getting ready for Christmas. The city is certainly all decked out, but then so are our parishes and so are our schools preparing.
Yeah, right.
There's when most people think of the tree lighting, they think of the tree in downtown Chicago. But our office for radio and television went to Saints Peter and Paul on the south side, where they had a special tree lighting. And we have that report right here.
Oh, great.
God our Father, we thank you for the gift of life.
We were talking about some of the bad press that our neighborhood gets. You know, there's a lot of wonderful things that happen in West Pullman, and let's do something great, which was to have our own Christmas tree lighting ceremony. We're going to have some young ladies from St. Anthony's to do a traditional Mexican dance. We're going to have Christmas music. We're going to have Santa Claus, and we're very happy and very proud that we're able to accomplish this.
And the trees, of course, is a sign of life for us as Christians. So, and the light, of course, we celebrate the coming of Christ in the world to bring light into the world, to expel darkness.
It really helps to build a community, just having an event like this, and, you know, we at Habitat for Humanity Chicago are really focused on building communities, not just homes. So whatever we can do to help is just wonderful. And we're very excited and very happy to be a part of this.
What would you like for Christmas? 3, 2, 1, Merry Christmas!
We're hoping to secure the lots next door. There are 5 lots to build a food distribution center and a food pantry that will serve the West Pullman community, Riverdale, Harvey, and Altgeld Gardens. So that's the vision.
I like the evening because I smelt it and was like, we about to eat. And like it was fun though because like especially how the girls started cha-chaing. My little sister Jaylee, she was over there. She was like,
I enjoyed it and I liked it. The part with Santa and the little girls dancing, like cha-cha dancing, whatever you call it.
I think the cha-cha dance was good and Santa was good too. Everything was just good. This evening I liked it when Santa came and we took pictures with him.
I think the evening was good with Santa, taking a picture with him, and I like that the evening when we was counting down with Santa.
You know, as we saw in that report, Cardinal, it wasn't just a celebration for the parish. Habitat for Humanity, community leaders, civic leaders, the police spoke there with their presence. It goes along with everything we've been talking about this whole half hour.
It does, and it makes sure, I think it helps our young people to understand that their education they're receiving is not just for them. They have to let the light shine in the community to make sure that there's a difference. That was the theme as well in the work that we did in the To Teach You Christ campaign. We wanted to make sure that we were not just referring to ourselves and our own needs, but that we were building stronger communities so that our children could have the faith passed on to them in the next generation, whether it's in our religious education program or our schools. So that really does, I think, fold into everything we've been trying to do with our schools, with the Renew My Church, with To Teach You Christ is. And once again, I just want to thank people for participating in that. We really have made record gains in support for our parishes through that To Teach You Christ campaign is. And I believe that we're going to have the best success of any diocese in the history of the church in the world.
Really?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
That's fantastic to hear. I think our viewers, along with hearing that, would love to hear just what are your wishes for them for this Christmas?
Well, I want to wish all of the viewers here and their families many blessings in this Christmas season. Christ came into the world to teach us not how to be God, but how to be human, how we should be those who are in relationships with one another and enhance each other's lives. It is the Word became flesh that we proclaim. And so my hope would be that we would all be a little bit more humane and human to each other, that we would have peace reign not only on our streets and in the world, but in our hearts. That is my prayer and my wish for all of you and your families in this very beautiful season. A Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year to all of you.
Cardinal, thank you very much. As always, it's a joy to be with you. I wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and to all our viewers too. We'll see you next time on Catholic Chicago.
We invite you to watch segments of Catholic Chicago and hundreds of additional Catholic videos at youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.